Well, I've come along to join Andrea Chambers here down at the Lisa Lowe Centre. Although it's all about to be changing, I believe, the whole of your aspect, because people think of you as a Manx cancer help and that sort of thing.
Yes, we're in a rather prolonged period of transition.
Right, but more to do with mental health as well, because that's obviously the subject that seems to be on everyone's minds at the minute.
Yeah, Manx Cancer Help has always been about looking after the mental health of people with cancer.
Yeah.
That need has changed slightly on the island, and so we've looked at the need for our charity to continue and try to find a niche that would mean that our service wasn't being duplicated, because we're using public money. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to us that the service we provide is relevant and up to date and needed.
Well, mental health, people talking to us, but people are putting things on social media. It seems to be almost an explosion at the minute of that sort of thing. But I don't know if it is or not, but we've done various interviews.
Yeah.
How does this sit with you? Because I mean, you're the sort of professionals. Would that be the right terminology here? You have your trained counsellors and that sort of thing.
We've been running a highly professional mental health service here for cancer patients for 10 years. And we are already, but will launch officially on the 1st of July, running a service around the mental health of young people up to the age of 30, but also beyond. We have an awful lot of people. You're right, there is a real explosion in people recognising mental health needs and looking for help.
How do they get help? Because obviously we've talked to people who just want to chat over a cup of coffee or whatever, but I mean, that's one thing, although I'm not quite sure if that's necessarily the right way to go for some people, because obviously professional help and just someone chatting are two different things, aren't they?
This centre is set up to be like a home. A lot of people associate going to see a mental health expert with somebody daunting in a clinical environment, and that it might be a frightening experience for them. And some people who come through the door of this centre are a little bit frightened on their first visit, but they are met with a really warm welcome with a cup of tea or coffee, and our staff are trained to welcome people and make them feel at home. And so from the first minute they come through the door, you can see them visibly relax, and that's really important, because you're coming to talk about something that's causing them probably the most difficult time of your life. And if you're having anxiety or depression or whatever, it's hugely difficult to know how to deal with it. And so people are coming for very specialist help, and that's what we provide here.
It's obviously got to be anonymous, or you've got to have that security between what people tell you and that sort of thing, right? I mean, is that all part of it?
There's several ways that we run services. So that there are the people who suffer from anxiety for whatever reason, that will be treated, and then they'll go back to their normal life and carry on. They might need to just chat to somebody over a cup of coffee, but that person needs to have some training, or to be sitting somewhere. We offer various support groups here, and people that come in to talk to a member of our staff. Now, we're not trained counsellors or psychotherapists. I'm not. The sort of welcoming team here isn't, but anyone who comes here for a one-to-one session is seen by a clinical psychologist or a psychotherapist or a counsellor, and those people have trained for 3 to 4 years.
Is that expensive to take that, though?
It's an expensive training.
No, well, for people to
pay them.
How much do you charge for that sort of service?
At the moment, anybody whose mental health is affected by cancer is seen free, and those people are prioritised. Anybody else, we have a sliding scale of charges. So some people, if they can afford to pay, they will pay the full price, which is about £100 a session, to see a clinical psychologist. But if people have trouble with payment, then we will always come to some arrangement. We're a charity, but we're compassionate. We care about people, so we're not going to turn anyone away.
What sort of people come to you, or is that just too wide a question?
Well, we have a range of measures that when people come, we give them a very short, easy to fill in questionnaire that tells us exactly what their need is, because it can range from generalised anxiety, which is terribly frightening, but actually fairly easily resolved by talking to a professional, up to people who have the beginnings of really serious mental health condition. And it takes a professional to be able to differentiate between the two.
And there's a way out of this. I mean, people come in And they leave you. They don't stay in the system forever.
Absolutely not. That's very much part of what we do here. It's about empowering people to take back control of their own lives. So they will come here and see usually between 6 and sometimes up to 20 sessions if people are fairly severely ill. And then we can, what we call, step them down. So from seeing one of our psychotherapists, they would then join a support group or some other form of more informal support for as long as they need to, really, because we don't want to cast people back out into the world if they don't feel they're ready to be able to do so on their own. So we have a range of support. It's tailored to the individual person, and that's the crucial thing.
And you're a charity, but you must need support. How do you get that?
That's the reason why this has been a prolonged period of transition.
Right.
It's funding. So our I'll Listen campaign, which will launch on the 1st of July, and we've been talking to government, we've been talking to various trusts and fund-giving bodies. Over the next 2 weeks, every business on the Isle of Man will receive a letter from us and an accompanying video telling them about this project, why we've decided to go with it, and the difference we think we can make to the mental health of young people on the Isle of Man. We're working closely with government, with the Board of Education, with the Board of the Department of Health and Social Care, and they're really interested to make this a real collaboration between third sector organisations, that's not just ours but others that are already helping young people, and the government services that are already there. But as everybody knows, and it's quite widely reported, they're struggling because there's an awful lot of young people out there that need some help, and that's what we're trying to fix as a real professional collaboration.
Is the hardest part of this whole operation for people who need your help is to pick up that phone or to make the contact?
By far the most difficult thing, yeah.
So people watching this now, what would you say? It's
really difficult, and we have several phone calls every day or emails or Facebook messages from people who are struggling and don't know where to turn. It's a difficult thing to do, but if anyone who phones us will be met with a warm welcome and will be invited in here to discuss what they need.
It's very relaxing, I have to say, this place.
It's beautiful.
It's like a house, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's very deliberately done, and there's some paintings there that have been done by some members of one of our support groups, and people make their own cups of tea and coffee and feel at home, and if they have had a particularly bad day, it's not unusual for people to pop in here and just have a cup of coffee and gather their thoughts before they go home or go shopping or whatever they were trying to do.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to talk to you, because it's balancing things up between just having a chat with somebody and looking for help that's professional help, if you want to call it that sort of thing.
It's such a wide-ranging subject, mental health. We all have days that we struggle with our mental health. Everybody does. It's knowing the difference between those days and then the next day will be better, and what sort of help we need to get us back on track. To those people who really do have severe mental health problems that need prolonged treatment.
Now, I mean, we've heard about the police having extra help now on this, and how many cases they deal with just as police.
Yeah.
Do we have a bigger problem here than anywhere else, or is it suddenly coming to the fore?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty certain that we don't. I think throughout the UK, certainly in setting up the I'll Listen campaign, we've done a lot of research into what's going on in the UK, and there are similar organisations popping up all over the place. I think it's just become recognised that our mental health is just as important as our physical health. One sits side by side with the other, and mental health professionals are people who've trained for as long as doctors, and looking after our mind is just as important as going to our GP. You've just got to find the right person to help you.